Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Prabhupada photo. Ready? Me. My room. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You need to put a cloth underneath. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Facing this way. Oh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Tri Vraj Gachaja Stotra Satta Sri Simad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charan Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skan Bibiti Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhaktivinoda Ki Harinama Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Labdadayine Prahlada Labdadayine Hiranyakashipurbhaktaha Tilatanka Nakalaye Ito Nisringha Parato Nisringho Yato Yato Yamitato Nisringha Bahe Nisringho Hridaye Nisringho Haratim Hamadim Saranam Papade Avakara Kamala Varinatam Madhita Sringam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanovinam Nati Sabadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Hara Hara Kamala Hare Adita Singha Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Sabadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Nisingade Jaya Narasinghade Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Lakshmi Narahari 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Nisingli Bhagavan ki, Jai Prahlad Maharaj ki, Jai Nitai Gauda Kinandi. That's okay. So, Hare Krishna to everyone. We're having a short program in honor of Lord Dharmachandra, whose appearance is today. So you finally did shave up, huh? Congratulations. Yeah. So we're having just a very short program, which we'll be hearing something from the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. I chose one small text from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's close to 5:30 right now. Normally at 6 o'clock we have our Gaurarati in the temple, so we'll spend the next half an hour trying to remember something about the glories of Lord Ramachandra. This year especially, it is very much celebrated in India with greater enthusiasm, I would say, especially because of the opening of the Ayodhya temple, which is, of course, a major major accomplishment, not only for India actually, but for the whole world as well. And it is all part of what is meant to happen in the world. What is meant to happen in the world means how Krishna consciousness gradually is meant to be introduced at all different levels. So I'll just chant a few short invocation, and then we'll read one purport by Srila Prabhupada, and then we'll speak a few things in relation to the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. Yes. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyanandana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prasyacha Desatharine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I've taken one text from the chapter 11, entitled Lord Dharmachandra Rules the World. And this is text number, what is it? Yes, text number 5. I'll just read once the Sanskrit and then we'll read the translation and purport. Tute brahmana devasya vatsalyam vikshya samstutam prita klinna dhiyas tasmai prachara pyedam babhashire. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. All the brahmanas who were engaged in the various activities of the sacrifice were very pleased with Lord Ramachandra, who was greatly affectionate and favorable to the brahmanas. Thus, with melted hearts, they returned all the property received from him and spoke as follows. Purport. In the previous chapter, it is said that the prajas, the citizens, strictly followed the system of varnashrama dharma. The brahmanas acted exactly like brahmanas, the kshatriyas exactly like kshatriyas, and so on. Therefore, when Lord Ramachandra gave everything in charity to the brahmanas, being qualified, wisely considered that brahmanas are not meant to possess property to make a profit from it. The qualifications of a brahmana are given in the Bhagavad Gita 18:42. Samodamastapa shocham kshantir azavame vacha jnanam vijnanamastikam brahmakarma swabhavajam. Translation: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the brahmanas work. It's a relatively short purport, so you should... Oh, welcome. Thank you, Krishna. The Brahminical character offers no scope for possessing land and ruling citizens. These are the duties of a kshatriya. Therefore, although the brahmanas did not refuse Lord Ramachandra's gift, after accepting it, they returned it to the king. The brahmanas were so pleased with Lord Ramachandra's affection toward them that their hearts melted. They saw that Lord Ramachandra, aside from being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was fully qualified as a kshatriya and was exemplary in character. One of the qualifications of a kshatriya is to be charitable. A kshatriya, or ruler, levies taxes upon the citizens not for his personal sense gratification, but to give charity in suitable cases. Dhanam Ishvara Bhava. On one hand, the kshatriyas have the propensity to rule, but on the other hand, they are very liberal with charity. When Maharaj Yudhisthira gave charity, he engaged Karna to take charge of distributing it. Karna was very famous as Datta Karna. The word Datta refers to one who gives charity very liberally. The kings always kept a large quantity of food grains in stock, and whenever there was any scarcity of grains, they would distribute grains in charity. A Kshatriya's duty is to give charity, and a Brahmana's duty is to accept charity. But not more than they needed to maintain body and soul together. Therefore, when the Brahmanas were given so much land by Lord Ramachandra, they returned it to him and were not greedy. So, of course, this very nice example of the dealings between those who are meant to be ideal Brahmanas and those who are meant to be ideal Kshatriyas. It means that actually in an ideal society, everyone is meant to be qualified. The Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. Actually, all the members of society, as Prabhupada explains in different places, especially in the context of what we call Daiva Varnasrama. Prabhupada mentions the word Varnasrama in the very beginning of the purport. This kind of situation, this kind of arrangement, where there's a very wholesome, healthy exchange between all the members of the society, is actually only possible when we put into practice, when we apply the system that Krishna has created. And for most of us actually in Kali Yuga, especially those who are not, who have not had the good fortune of being born within a Vedic culture, which means basically those especially outside of India, the whole idea of a society along the lines described in the Bhagavatam, where we see such an exemplary ruler who is so caring and so loving for all of the citizens. Like here it mentions that the hearts of the Brahmanas melted because Lord Ramachandra, as a ruler, as a king, he was like an ideal father. Just like an ideal family, a father is meant to be very affectionate to the members of the family, to the wife and the children. There are three basic responsibilities for Kshatriyas. One is mentioned here, protection. A Kshatriya must give both physical protection and also protection in terms of the principles of dharma. He must know, in the Vedic culture, actually, a ruler, to be a ruler, must have undertaken Kshatriya training, like the Pandavas did, like Krishna and Balaram did after leaving Vrindavan, isn't it? They spent, the Pandavas in particular spent many years, normally it would take many years, to become a qualified Brahma, to become a Brahmana, to become a qualified Kshatriya as well. So this is what is very much lacking within our society, as Srila Prabhupada reminded us and instructed in so many ways. Protection is the first, and then the second important responsibility of a Kshatriya is to administer, to organize. To administer means to organize society very nicely, and the best social arrangement, of course, is that arrangement created and given by Krishna himself, which is the system of Varna and Ashrama. So protection, administration, and welfare welfare. Just like in the purport, it mentions that they still do this in India and probably in other countries. But if you travel in India, for example, a little bit, uh, I used to notice going by train, they have these huge warehouses where they keep grains, right? Government, I don't know what they call them, food house, food.
Food stock,
Uh,
green wheat.
yeah. Prabhu, you can speak to our, yeah, speak to our worker. Yeah, yeah. Food grains were kept because at any time, especially in Kali Yuga, there can be and there will be and there are calamities. Yeah. So welfare is a very important aspect also. And this very nice example here that those who are really brahmanas in the Vedic culture, as we're seeing here, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas actually, they would give uh, in great quantity. Actually, they would give land, they would give cows, they would give all kinds of facilities to the brahmanas. But because the brahmanas, by their training and by their knowledge, they are satisfied with actually the minimum. So whatever excess, they will actually distribute. Brahmanas also, they uh, they also perform charity. So this is, we read these descriptions in the Shastra so that we can become inspired, so that we can know what actually is the real standard. And accordingly, then we should endeavor to, all of us actually individually and collectively as a society as well, endeavor to become qualified, to develop what are the needed qualities for a Brahmana, what are the needed qualities for a Kshatriya, etc., like that. And those are all nicely given in the Shastra. Of course, we know that it is Kali Yuga, and one of many symptoms in the Kali Yuga is that people tend to be lazy. People don't want to work for long hours. And also people are not so qualified, they cannot understand even simple things. Still, actually somebody just shared a very nice PowerPoint which I only received maybe yesterday or the day before, which we will make it available. One devotee, his name is Purushottam Kshetra. He's actually a Prabhupada disciple. I don't know him, but he's retired in Gitanagari in America, Pennsylvania. You've been there, I think? No, yeah? Okay. So that's one of the few farm communities that Prabhupada visited personally. There are nice pictures of Prabhupada walking on the property. So because he's retired, he spent quite a bit of time researching on this whole aspect of varnashrama. And you won't believe, but I'll tell you anyways. He put a PowerPoint together that has 378 slides. I'll repeat, 378 slides. So one really has to be, curious to know what he's telling in all these 378 slides. Obviously, it's not something you want to present, to a big audience in 1 hour, because you won't have time. But one of the important aspects, we're talking about the disqualifications we all have in Kali Yuga. One of the disqualifications is that we are having a shortage or what is it? Our brain tissues are
Not understand.
we cannot understand things so easily. And what is the main reason for that? Who can say?
No milk.
Right. I was going to say, it depends how much milk you... Pure cow's milk is described very nicely in Shastra And those who are Kaviraj, Ayurvedic doctors here in India especially, they know the value of pure wholesome milk. He goes so many slides actually, he goes into detail as to how and why this the presence of milk, uh, presence of high quality milk is only possible when you have high quality soil. And so there's this intimate, direct, they call it symbiosis between cows and the land. One of the greatest catastrophes, we could say, of the modern age is that our bright scientists, some of the bright, so-called bright scientists, I mean, we don't want to just knock everyone down, but they thought that actually, and they still have this kind of gross misunderstanding, that we can produce food without the presence of animals. In other words, isn't it? We've separated, now we don't do farming with bullocks, with cows, we do with machines. And the end result, of course, is that we have totally destroyed our topsoil all over the world, actually. 70% practically of the land is devoid of its natural nutrients, topsoil. So when the land is poor, naturally it will not produce food. And the cows, their main business is to graze, is to take wholesome food from the land. Well, when there's no good land, you don't get wholesome food, you don't get grass that will actually produce the type of milk that is meant to actually produce this kind of brain tissue that can help us understand Shastra. So that's why we cannot understand even simple things, what to speak of Shastra. Shastra, you need higher developed brain substance. So what we are endeavoring, we means all of us as devotees all over the world, we're trying to reintroduce, reestablish these very basic fundamental principles. And in order for that to actually happen, somebody actually wrote a whole paper that Varnashrama cannot be established without Kshatriyas, which is so true. So 2 years ago, actually, we started a small Gurukula in South India, in the district of Udupi. We called it Parashuram Gurukula. We had problem with water, our well. We shifted the Gurukula at that time to another place where they had a rural project. But main point being that there is very much a need for these two classes to be reestablished. Prabhupada mentions Brahmana class, Brahminical class, and Kshatriya class. Actually, we also need, we need to actually establish all four because there are specific duties, responsibilities for each of these four classes. In other words, each member of the system of Varna and Ashrama, each member, including Shudra, which unfortunately has a negative connotation, but actually in the Vedic culture, Shudras, if we read in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, Narada Muni gives 8 or 9 qualities of a Shudra. It means in the Vedic culture, actual Shudra is a highly qualified individual. He may not have, obviously because we're all different, he doesn't have that kind of ability to deeply understand or deeply study Shastra. But he has actually 2 of the 4 basic qualities that make up the pillars of Dharma. This is nicely explained by Narada Muni. A qualified Shudra is meant to be having the quality of satyam, truthfulness. No one likes to work with people who are not honest. So good Shudra actually, good Shudra means good servant. And for all of us as devotees, this is like fundamental. We're all meant to become good servants. So truthfulness, satyam, and also socham. Everyone likes, generally we hire a servant in our home to keep the house clean. So if a servant doesn't have a sense of cleanliness, he's not going to last long in that service, isn't it? Yeah. So cleanliness, as we all know, is important for everyone because, as Prabhupada would remind us, cleanliness is next to godliness. Yeah. So especially brahmanas are meant to be very clean, and everyone actually within. That is the beauty of Daiva Varnashrama, as Srila Prabhupada wanted us to introduce. Daiva Varnashrama is that system where every member is endeavoring to become advanced in Krishna consciousness, where everyone is actually a devotee of Krishna. So we don't actually make material differences, although there may be differences in responsibility or differences in services. So in this way, uh, on yeah, uh, this important day of the appearance of Lord Ramachandra, we should pray to Lord Ramachandra to give us, to bless us, actually, so that we can, by following the good instructions given by our Vaishnav acharyas, that we can establish. The whole world is very much in great need of qualified leaders like Lord Ramachandra, qualified brahmanas, as we are hearing today and the description that is being given. And to conclude, that is why we are here sitting in the mango grove today, the mango forest, where we thought is a good place to have this little program before we just have our final program at the temple. Our primary purpose for being here is actually to establish a Varnashram college. I gave you one pamphlet this morning. I didn't give you the other one, so I'll give it to you now actually. So those, yeah, we have two pamphlets here. Before you leave, those who have not received it yet can avail of a copy. And so our primary purpose here actually is to establish both a Varnashram college and a Gurukula, where individuals, Prabhupada explains, actually in his Gita Nagari, Prabhupada mentioned that we will not accept, he mentions, right, we will not accept Gurukul boys over the age of 7. Oh. Prabhupada really wanted to actually, I think some guests are here, or somebody's visiting, you know? Anyways. Yeah, right. So, Prabhupada did say that actually Gurukul is for the younger boys. So when he wrote that in BSA Gita Nagari, that's what he meant. You know, the younger, that they start in the Gurukula, because the older, of course, depending on the background, but generally, from general society, the older one gets exposed to many undesirable situations, etc., like that. And of course, the Varnashram College is generally meant for the older boys. Yeah. So we will try to follow this in our Varnashram College and Gurukula, so that so that it can be a place where this type of knowledge, training, education can be given, with the idea of actually inspiring others to start similar type of facilities. And those who will graduate from our both Gurukul and Varnashram College, they can more easily, of course, because they will have knowledge, experience, they'll be able to start such educational systems. Education is actually the key for everything. I mean, in the 7 purposes that Srila Prabhupada is given, the first one is to systematically train and educate people in the science of Krishna consciousness. And so we need such types of facilities, so that one day we are beginning to see actually individuals who are born in devotee families who get the good opportunity to receive such kind of training and education. So from a very young age, we start seeing uh, very good symptoms of very qualified individuals. So we should take inspiration from uh, the activities and the yeah the whole situation as it was, because that's what we the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually is meant to reintroduce, reestablish um, a golden era, golden period, where it was possible to have such type of very uh, satisfied individuals. Prabhupada explains that the symptom of a well-organized society is that people are satisfied with their leaders. They are not like we see in modern day society, every other day making, um, uh, going on strike or whatever like that. So this is what we are hoping to do here. And we, I think, who's coming here for the first time? You've come, and a few people, yeah, right. So, of course, you had come before also. I mean, you came this morning, right? Yeah. And before, I think. So we have uh, one of our directors for the project is here, right behind us, Dayal Mukunda Prabhu. He's our neighbor. Uh, he has a wonderful sanctuary protecting bulls and cows and other living entities. uh, so we were asking recently some feedback from different devotees regarding our project here. And one devotee was mentioning it would be nice that whoever comes here as part of the training, that they can be taken to different places, one of them being like the Nandi Sanctuary. That's the name of the facility that is there. Of course, everything is organized ahead of time, etc., like that. Uh, but because our place is not so big, we are looking towards establishing some contacts with either farmers or individuals who are doing something along the line that is being, let's say, promoted in the Vedic culture. Just like there's one devotee from America. I have not met him yet. His name is Giri Hari. Some of you may know him. He's been here for maybe 1 year or so. Anyways, he's making, developing like self-sufficient type of place and just using local materials, etc. So there are individuals who have that kind of understanding, and we are looking to come in contact with such like-minded individuals. I mean, all of us, yes.
Nearby, we are also doing organic farming.
Oh, is it? Huh? Okay, there we go. Yeah, yeah.
And that's with the bulls.
With the bulls, huh? Okay, okay, well, yeah. So these are the kind of activities that we want people to know about. We want people to learn about. And so um, as we get things kind of established here and gradually begin these courses, then we'll be having what we call field trips, because that's also something very important. They have that in ordinary colleges and universities. Just like recently, a group of devotees, we went to Indonesia. Of course, I've been going to Indonesia for a number of years, but for someone who's never been to a country like Indonesia, where we have, for example, a community that's been developing for the last 25 years, they just celebrated their silver jubilee, Gaur Purnima. So it's very nice to see that is possible. They have 179 residents in their small village, spread over like close to 200 acres of land. So, seeing such examples are inspiring and educational also for those who take advantage. Yeah. So we will now shift to the temple where we'll have darshan of Krishna Balaram. We'll bring, you can tell Rajasekar Prabhu can bring photo of Krishna. I mean, where's Rameshwar Prabhu? Oh, you can take a photo of Lord Ramachandra. So thank you all very much. And right after, actually, for those who can stay, we'll be having some prasad naturally. Yeah. Jai Sri Lord Ramachandra ki, Jai Sri Ram Navami Festival ki, Gaura Primanandi, Hare Krishna. Okay, yes, I'll take now.